the fastest way to reduce the amount of people that get affected is literally if everyone just agrees to stay at home for a couple of weeks. I know everyone's wants to go out. It makes, okay, we understand. Like I honestly, like, I'm looking outside and I'm like, it is such a wonderful weather. Like, I personally, I had this shit winter. Like, this whole winter, for some reason, it was just different from all the other winters that, like, prior to that. Obviously, like, you get is it called winter depression or a seasonal depression, something like that? Yeah, it's and obviously, like, it makes sense because in the UK it's always grey, it's raining, it makes sense that it affects your mental health, right? And for me, that this winter was like, it was difficult, you know, to try to just be normal. I was really looking forward for April, May, for the summer, and then this happened, and I am so angry that I'm not gonna have a summer. Like, summer's happening, but no one's going anywhere. But again, the easiest way for like this whole thing to just calm down is if everyone just stay at home. It just makes sense. Think about it. Stay at home. It means that you're not going to be catching anything and you're not going to be giving anything to anybody. Let the other people who have to work do their job. And until there is a vaccine, I think that's the only way people should be allowed out, because I've been hearing that you know, people will be able to work in a couple of weeks or something like that. Like, people can go out. Like, they'll be allowing people to go out, even though I think even they're not saying anything about the vaccine. They're not saying, oh, when the vaccine is being made, people can.
But then again, even with vaccine, there is a lot of people who won't have vaccine, and there has been quite a few correlation with people who I mean, obviously I haven't researched it, but I received like this link by my friend the other day, and there was like a link between people who had a certain vaccine and the COVID. So it's like, I think when people hear these things, they won't have the vaccine. So it's just about kind of, the thing is, we have to think about, even if you're not scared for your own self, you have to be scared for the older generation that
everyone else,
not privileged enough for, you know, to have their body fight it. And you know what? Like, there is loads of people who are young who have passed away from this, and people think, I'm young, I'm immune to this. You're not. You are not immune.
No, that's true.
Like, it can hit you very hard where you can't breathe, and you know, it's like literally suffocating. And I don't think people realize how bad the situation is, because I mean, on TV we're showing how bad Italy is, but they're not showing how bad the UK is and how bad the hospitals are. You know, a lot of people are passing away and they're having to use ice skating rings, I think, in America, to kind of put the bodies in there.
What?
Because the morgues are full. They have like little, I think, like little vans where they have like they're having to put dead bodies, but then because of the increase of dead bodies, they're now having to use ice skating rings. It's crazy. I don't think people don't realize how intense and how bad this is, and probably how intense it's going to get. Like, especially in the UK, we are such a largely populated place, so it's not just going to go easily.
So when people obviously, well, unfortunately, die in hospitals from the virus, what happens after that? Are the family allowed to come and visit?
They're not allowing families to visit anyway. So no one's literally in any part of the hospital, whether you have COVID or you don't have COVID. You are literally by yourself. Like, no one is allowed to come in and even see you. You know, so it's really, really hard. And even when patients are passing away, I mean, some hospitals are being lenient to allow even one person to come, but even that is really hard, because you're having to go through patients who have the COVID, and you don't want them to now take it outside and spread it to the people outside. So in most cases, no one's kind of being allowed to see anybody. And even when they take them to the morgues and stuff, like, you know, usually with us, for example, in Islam, we're allowed to like see the face before we wash the body. People are not even being washed.
Oh my God.
It's really, really, like, I mean, we are washing them how we can, but it's not the Islamic way, or I think even Jewish people have a way to kind of wash their dead bodies.
Mm.
And people are being deprived of that kind of that last wish. I mean, we all wish that when we pass away, somebody, like, everybody prays for us, everybody comes to see us, everybody makes dua for us. And it's hard because they've been deprived of even that, of even being washed, or even like the families having to see their faces for the last time. Because once you're closed, they're not reopening the bodies, especially if you have COVID. That's like no. So they're just being buried how they are, basically.
And for the burial, can people come to the like
only 5 people?
Only 5 people to pray on the body.
So you
like
can't. So there's not
like a janaza prayer.
There isn't a janaza prayer where you go to the mosque and you take the body and stuff. It's just straight to the burial. And only 5 people are allowed to be at the burial. So imagine, like, for example, me, my granddad had 15 kids, mashallah.
Mashallah.
And that's just from like my mom's side. And then my dad's side is bigger. And then, we have, that's just my uncles and aunties. And then more cousins. So it's very hard. Like, when I imagine, if I was to put myself in these people's shoes, it's hard to choose 5 people to kind of come to a burial. Because everybody feels that they should be there. Your uncles, not your aunties, but your uncles, your brothers. And it's so hard just having 5 people there. Now these people are having to like Zoom or like use like FaceTimes and stuff to show people like, we're burying the person and this is how it is, to kind of make everybody feel like they're included
in it.
But it's really hard to see and watch, and I don't think people realize how much one person how we're affecting other people, because of our selfish decisions of going out and enjoying ourselves and sunbathing and picnics. Just like stay at home,
And by the way, you're saying sunbathing and that. And this also includes people who go out for a walk and go out for runs, just do a home workout.
Yeah.
Like I've seen a lot of people are going out for runs.
People that don't even run on a daily basis.
Exactly. Like everyone decided, you know what, I'm gonna run today.
Like, unless you really need to go outside.
Just for shopping.
You need to realize that this is not just affecting you. This is not just affecting, your family. It's affecting a lot of people, and it's affecting people who have mental health problems, who are having to stay at home and isolated. And
it's very selfish. It's very selfish.
Yeah.
Of course.
People that are being abused and they're still having to stay locked away with the abuser. Like, you need to realize that this is literally affecting everybody.
Yeah. No, that's true. You haven't told me how you got the virus. Were you not protected? So do you
I was fully protected.
Okay, so how did you get it then?
Well, I think so. Before, we used to get tested with the masks and stuff, on whether we can how well they're protecting us, basically. And when I had my test, I failed with the mask that I was being tested with. So that could be one possibility. I'm not.
What do you mean?
That. So we used to have like a fit test. So they used to put the mask on, and then we'd have like this hood, and they used to spray something that's very like soury. And if you can still taste the sourness, that means that you failed the test. And they would have to use another mask and then test you again and test you again. So obviously on that day I was in a COVID bay, and I went in there and I wore that mask, and in my head I knew, I was like, I think I am like breathing everything in already as it is.
Yeah.
Because so basically before, when it first started, they used to test us because there was like 1 or 2 patients, so it was easy to kind of allocate a nurse to those patients, those people who have passed the test.
Yeah.
But then eventually, like a week later, it became half of the ward was full, and then 2 weeks later the whole ward, like all 41 beds, I think 41 beds were like full of like COVID patients.
Yeah.
So now it's like, you're gonna have to go in these, you're gonna have to look after these patients who have the virus, and we're not testing anybody anymore. Like, they stopped the whole testing and stuff, because obviously now there is too many patients who have the COVID, and there isn't enough nurses to allocate to these patients. So it's now like you kind of just have to go and hope to not get it. So I think that was one way. The second, it's we alhamdulillah, with my hospital we do have the right PPE, but
what's
it's
PPE?
still not as good. So personal protective equipment. Sorry.
Got it.
And it's not as good as when I see people in Italy or people in China or South Korea and stuff. Like, it's still not as good as their quality of protection.
Yeah.
But I guess our government was not prepared for this, and we can't blame our managers, because when I see the nurses in charge or the managers and stuff, like everybody, it's literally on their toes, and they're trying their best to kind of ask us what we think should be improved and how we can improve things. But then it's like it's a bit too late, because now the damage is done. There is so many people with COVID, and to kind of change the ways now, it's like every time I would go back to work, things would change. Now it's like you change, how we wash our hands is different now, or how you take off your PPE is different, when you take it off and what you do. So every week literally things are changing.
They're trying to adapt to
exactly
the situation,
and everybody's definition of what to do if you catch the virus or to prevent the virus is different. Like for example, with my cousin's hospital, which is a private hospital, they will test you until you're negative. They're not allowing anybody to come back until you're negative. And then with our hospital is like, okay, 48 hours later, even if you're positive, you're still gonna come in. So it's like everybody's doing things differently, and they don't know what to do, and they don't know how to take care of these patients and stuff. Like everyone is just trying to hope for the best, basically.
Yeah,
it's really hard, really hard.
Well, the question is, how are the NHS treating people that present symptoms when arriving to hospitals? So how are they treated in terms of what do they tell them? When are they actually admitted into the intensive care?
So right now, the beds for the intensive care are very precious, as you can imagine. So they won't just admit you. And that's why I always tell people, unless you're really struggling to breathe, or unless, your chest is really tightening, do not go to the hospital. Just try and self-isolate and look after yourself. And I'm not like an advocate of telling people, if you're sick, stay at home. But you will either be sent home if they don't feel like your symptoms are as bad. Because, for example, me, I had the virus. Sometimes I felt breathless, but it wasn't like I couldn't breathe and stuff. So in my head, I'm like, if I go to the hospital, there is people who are in worse situations than me. And, I shouldn't be taking up any beds from these people. Unless I am very critically ill. And even if you go on the 111 website, they'll tell you, unless you're really unable to breathe and you feel breathless and stuff, then we'll treat you. So you can be sent home even if you're positive.
Yeah. And there's nothing to be done. Like, if someone is positive, the only thing they can do, what is there to be done? Do they just send you home and say, look after yourself, drink more? I don't understand. But
I think main advice is,
what is the advice exactly?
If you have a temperature, for example, to have paracetamol, to avoid ibuprofen if you can. With me, I did more of the natural stuff, so more turmeric, ginger, lemon, lime, mixing it and juicing it
to boost your immune system.
Yeah, to boost it. And I'm sure you know probably better than me, since
Yeah, we actually had this a podcast. The first one was about, because a lot of people they've resulted into having more natural solutions, in hope that it will that it won't allow them to catch the virus. And unfortunately, there is nothing that you will eat that will prevent that. The only thing you can do is just like have food that will
But
help you
it's more
increase
about
your immune
boosting your
system.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's more about boosting your immune
No, but
system.
it's about the mentality. The people actually think that if they eat that stuff, they will be, that it will help them fight the virus,
Yeah.
but it
I
won't.
mean, it's but the virus is what helps you fight the virus is your immune system.
Yeah,
And
of
if you
course.
keep in your immune system strong, then the likelihood of not even catching it, the likelihood of it affecting you, it's less likely. So that's why it's really important to kind of have your vitamins, to try and stop maybe eating too much meat and stuff. Because I was having like a conversation with my sister-in-law who's like very into like natural stuff, and like try to have more of like celery juices and things that are like healthy for your body and healthy for yourself. And you know what, the benefits are more than just you not catching COVID. The benefits are yourself, your immune system, your health, your body, and fitness that we don't actually take serious. We take it for granted,
Yeah.
like, and I think I do highly advise that when this is over, everybody gets themselves out in the gym and starts eating healthy and stuff, because doctors can only do so much.
Yeah.
The rest is you and your body.
Yeah.
And
But people don't need to wait until this is over. Like, they can train
course.
at home and they can still eat properly, and it is true. Like, people, it took them a whole pandemic to be more aware of their body and what it needs. For example, like, I've been trying to get my mum to have certain foods, for like, to include certain nutritious food into her diet for such a long time, but they just don't listen. But for some reason now, they're having the water with lemon, they're having all the gingers, all these things, they're trying to have more vegetables, they're trying to nourish their bodies with more nutritious food, rather than just high fat, high sugar, high salt food sources.
I think another problem is that I feel like because of this pandemic, loads of people are using it to their advantage, and you don't know who to trust. Because there is some people who are like the new nutritionists now, but they never studied nutrition. They just recently opened a book that says ginger, lemon, this, that, and then everybody has, how to stop COVID.
Yeah, no, yeah, no, but that's the reason why my first podcast was literally it was called nutrition in isolation, and what to eat and what not to eat, and the myth of the COVID-19 nutritious, so we've literally discussed all these things. And the problem is everyone has access to internet, meaning it's actually a problem. And what's the opposite of a problem? Benefit. It's a problem because anyone can just be everyone can claim that they know everything about nutrition, and start sending all their messages and start talking about things on social media, and everyone else who doesn't have the education, the knowledge, they, if someone is convincing, there's some people that are good at talking, so they're easily able to convince other people, even though they don't have the knowledge. They follow the nonsense, but at the same time, it doesn't give them. I think everyone else has the opportunity to just do more research online to find the right knowledge.
The thing is, what works. Everybody's body is different, and what works best for you might not work best for me. Yeah. And that's why it's really important that you don't just follow any type of nutrition, and you do get yourself a nutritionist who can work with you on your body, because I might have certain health conditions that you don't have, and certain foods that you have might not be good for me for my health conditions. No, and that's why it's important to have like people like you, for example, that you that people can actually go to and ask. And I feel like some people, it's really hard to approach them, and you can't ask them. But with you, I'm sure that if somebody was to come to you and ask you what kind of exercises can I do, or what kind of food can I eat, you'd be probably more than happy to help them, rather than them just Googling stuff. Because I'm telling you, this Google is like Dr. Google will tell you literally you're dying of anything. You write down, I have a headache, it's like you have a brain tumor, or you have this, So you have to get the right knowledge from the right people, not just yourself. Yeah, I think what we could probably take on from this whole like pandemic is the fact that not only we should take care of ourselves mentally, spiritually, psychologically, all of that. Like it's really important with and without this pandemic, because I think it's kind of brought to light a lot of problems within our communities and our
Yeah.
health and a lot of things. And another thing is like the appreciation of not just NHS workers, but also like people who work in the shops, people who clean the streets, people who are having to go outside, although this pandemic is going on, and having to put their lives at risk for the safety and for people to kind of have their essentials. Like people that work in the grocery shop, they're having to go to work so me and you can have our toilet papers that everyone's
Exactly. The
dying
delivery,
for.
the delivery people who's
Exactly,
bringing
the
and
delivery
the
people.
stuff. Yeah.
It's like, we need to appreciate each and every one of us, and we need to appreciate time, our families, like things that we are being deprived of. I don't think I used to take my family.
For
I never
granted.
used to appreciate them like
Yeah.
that. But now I'm like, I need to see my family. Like I miss you guys. You know, uh, just normal things like going out. Like I look at myself outside the window and I'm like, oh my god, like I feel like I'm in prison. I'm like, I want to go
Yeah.
outside.
I went shop. I had to go shopping. I think last week. Obviously, like I wore the mask. I wore the gloves, and I went out the door, and I was actually like a bit scared. Like I was. It took me a while to get used to I'm outside. No, it really did. Like it was like I'm in this. I'm not. It's not. It doesn't feel the same anymore being out, and
It was
that is
amazing.
strange. Not straight away. Like at first you're like hesitant and you're just like doing this and you're just walking slowly and trying not to be too close to anyone. But I think this whole pandemic is going to change a lot of things, and
I hope so. Because the people that were like, for example, people like Boris cough cough, if I go missing, guys, you know why. Just in case. Like people like him, like he was one of the people who voted against nurses getting a pay rise, and he was one of the people who didn't want the NHS to be free. And look at him, suddenly he's admitted to ITU for 3 days and then he's fine. MashaAllah, I wish he was like that. I wish he worked like that.
How comes he recovered so quickly?
Oh, that's a very good question. How comes? To me, it was more of a publicity stunt than him actually being ill. But then obviously I can't say anything. But no, as from an experience coming from ITU, you don't just recover that quickly, and you don't have a nurse just for you 24/7, whatever this.
Well, I guess if he has the money, he probably would afford to have his own nurse.
Did he get private? That's the question.
I'm sure. Do you think he went to a public hospital?
Yeah. He went to St. Thomas or St.
Really?
Yeah. He was like, oh yeah, when I hurt myself, I go to the A&E and this, I use NHS as well. It's more of a publicity, because obviously all of this is coming to light where people are like, you wanted the NHS to be shut down.
Yeah.
Where all those people who voted for Conservatives and stuff like that. Like, I think what we need to take from this is the importance of voting the right people, number one. And number two, just taking everybody not for granted, like nurses and stuff, like us, that we're not really, unless this pandemic started, nobody would have even thought of us. Because people are like to me, you're a hero, you're this, you're that. And I'm like, I'm not. Like, I've always had to do
I've always been doing this. I've been doing this for ages. Now I'm a hero.
I've seen worse things than COVID. Like, I've seen brain injuries. I've seen people get shot and people get stabbed and people get hit with machetes and whatnot. Like, I've seen open abdomens, open hearts, open brains, open this and that. And you're telling me, oh, you're a hero now. We, alhamdulillah, like not just me, but anybody in the healthcare have saved so many lives and changed so many people's lives. And you're telling me now, oh, you're a hero, you're this. We do appreciate it, but I feel like it's taken this to happen for people to actually appreciate us, which is really like
it's upsetting. Yeah. What can I say? Thank you so much for doing the podcast with us and telling us about your experience. Is there anything else you want to add before we end the podcast?
Let's just appreciate everybody. I think we just need to like unite, you know, like together we can fight all of this. And I think this is a proof that if we do work together, we can actually overcome this. Like we need to stop being selfish and stop thinking about just ourselves. Like
just stay home.
Stay at home.
Stay at home. Stop going out. Literally, it's as easy as that. Just stay at home for a couple of weeks so that everything can calm down, and hopefully we can the how do you say it? The country can strategize to see what are the next steps for the good of our people. Okay, I want my summer. Okay.
I want my holidays just as bad.
Dude, we finished 2019 and we're like, oh my god, we can't wait for 2020 to come. It's gonna be so sick. The Instagram and the social media everyone was just like, you know, I'm ready for 2020, and then 2020 happened and we're like, you know what, can we just skip to 2023 please?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. No, it's hard, but no, I think everybody, even doctors, have realized that, because they're not having just to do their own jobs, they're having to do like healthcare jobs and cleaners jobs, because doctors come in and help out and take out the rubbish bags and stuff. They're trying to help out as much as they can. So I feel like everyone is kind of learning to appreciate everybody. Because without cleaners, without the porters, everything just goes downhill. It's like, so we all need to just work together. But yeah, thank you for having me, and I hope I made sense.
No, you made plenty of sense. Thank you for letting everyone know the reality of the world outside their homes. It can be very easy to just everyone to, you know, be stuck in their own bubble. You know, if you're at home all day, every day, you don't know what's happening outside, and you're probably thinking, you know, me, one person in this neighborhood, me going outside by myself, you know, it's not going to do anything, but you never know what you're going to touch and what you can take. Exactly. Yeah, everything starts with like, everyone starts, it's a virus. It spreads, you know? One person in the whole neighborhood going out for no damn reason, for nothing, for no reason. You might touch something, you might touch a pole, you might touch something that someone else thought that they won't make a difference if they go out, and they probably have that virus. And now you took that to your own house, to your own family, to your own mom, dad, your wife, your kids. You really, like, it's not worth risking it. Like, just probably stay home. So easy. Thank you so much for coming, and just reminding everyone that I do live stream my workout classes. We work out together as a group. Everyone, no one is left behind. I would appreciate it if you can join us, because this is really can really help with your mental health. Obviously, it helped me, it helped everyone else who has been working out. It's like a date, more or less. It's like everyone knows we have like a date night where we all get together. We all get together 1 or twice a week, and we work out together. We break a sweat. We chit chat. You know, I'm sure like everyone is fed up of their own family that lives with them in the same house. It's like now you're like, I need a holiday from these people, from everyone here in this house. But anyway, so you can actually sign up to the classes, or I just find out about them in just below. I put a link They're called live stream workout classes. Thank you, Shema, for doing this. It was lovely seeing your face. Hope you get better, inshallah, and you build an immune, immunity to the virus.
Yes.
Of course, strong immunity. And yeah.
Thank you. Speak to you guys another time.
Thank you so much.
Inshallah. Bye.
Bye.